I need you to open your heart and give back to me those you love. Trust me with everything that concerns you regarding them. Place your hand in mine, and I will promise I will walk you and your loved ones through all things this life brings. Love, your trustworthy king.
I'd like to thank everyone for being here, and for all those that came last night who may never know how much you lifted this up. I thank you. Now, I am standing here at this podium, and I am humbled and honored like a baseball fanatic standing on the mound at Yankee Stadium. It is truly, truly an honor I will not forget, simply to stand here. My dad loved this sanctuary, and he loved to hear the choir sing. He loved to hear Dr. South preach and teach. So to just stand here at this podium is truly a gift I'll never forget. But sit down right now without saying another word and feel completed, because just standing here gives me a chance to honor my dad. But since I have you here, perhaps you can indulge me for a little while. You already know my dad, but I'd like to tell you about him from a son's perspective. And I'd like to call you to action. I have many, many memories of my dad. There's no way I can cover him in such a short amount of time. He is my life. He is my provider and my protector, my counselor and my encourager. He was the very definition of grandfather and father. My wife, Courtney, was not his daughter-in-law. She was his daughter. And John was not his son-in-law. He was his son. He loved his kids and his grandkids with all of his heart. But he loved his wife even more. And I remember when he would come home from work, and the corner office executive would kneel down and greet his kids at the door. Take his hat off, so to speak, and embrace us. But make no mistake about it, even though we tried to stop him, he was headed straight for home. Every day, every time. A good memory is an event that you recall from the past, something that makes you stop and think, oh yeah, I remember that. But my dad was a lot more than that. He was my hero. And based on the number of people here today, and the estimated 500 that were there last night, I would say that you would agree. What I would want my dad to hear today, and what I want my mom to hear, is that as a child, I loved my dad. But as an adult, I loved and appreciated him. To truly appreciate what he accomplished at school, I had to become a student. And to appreciate what he accomplished at work, I had to become an employee. To understand his devotion to my mom, I first had to be married. To understand him as a father, I had to become a father. To understand what it meant to help me with my homework, I had to help my kids with theirs. And to understand what it meant for him to be a coach, I had to be a coach myself. As an adult, our relationship transitioned to mutual friends and mentors. He was my counselor on the tennis court, my guide through Bible studies, and my friend through the toughest of times. He became my friend, and I know he was to many, many. Well, those things, they just touch the surface. If you really want to know my dad, you have to go much, much deeper than that. And my family knows adversity. We have experienced trials and tribulation. I have lost my granddad, my grandma, my granddad again, and my grandma again. I've lost my first wife, and I've lost my dad. We nearly lost my sister twice. The second time to an affliction, the same one that took my first one. Make no mistake about it, and I'm just telling you the truth. There is good in the world, and there is evil in the world. And at every one of these crises, evil was right there, ready to convince us that everything we believed in was nothing but vapor, and it stood there ready to divide up our family and render it ineffective. And I want you to know that I have spent in the past countless hours trying to understand the why of it all, reconciling God's love with what appears to be life's tragedies. But it was a great walk for me, and I learned that God loves us, He created everything, and He knows what He's doing. If you need to take that journey of why, I encourage you to do it. I will, however, ruin the ending for you. You will end up right back where you started. God loves you, He created everything, and He knows what He's doing. Now I stand today stronger than ever, and I know the truth of God's love. I am married with 4 children. I teach a small group at church. I am rooted in the truth, and I am absolutely unshaken. How is that possible? Because I'm in shock. Because I'm in denial. Oh, I've been there and I've done that, and this isn't it. How is that possible? Because my dad was, and he is, above all other things, above an employee, above a coach, above a husband or a father, above everything else, he was and is an authentic Christ follower. When you see my dad, do you see a religious, judgmental man? Do you see someone that rammed his beliefs down your throat with no explanation? No. What you see is a man who loved through action. He was selfless to the core, and he never asked what he wanted. He always asked what needed to be done and who needed to be served. He defined success. He defined success not by reaching the 40th floor of the executive tower in the corner office, but by using that office to reach more people, protect his employees. He defined success not by building a lake house, but by telling everyone where the key was, and that they were welcome anytime. He defined success not by checking a box in the church bulletin, but by changing lives through his teaching and his service. Over the past couple of years, my dad and I have embarked on a spiritual journey. We left behind religion. We encountered the grace of God together. We learned together how to define it, how to teach it, and how to live it. We worked together through conversations, phone calls, long instant messenger sessions at night. And we learned the difference between serving religious legalism and serving a true master in Jesus through love, fueled by grace. We recognize that today the popular term of Christianity or churchgoer has become religious and legalistic. So to understand my dad, what he stood for, what the source of his drive was, what powered him through physical hardships and exhausting circumstances, then you must understand who he served. And that is Jesus. He and I didn't coin the phrase, but we settled on the title that explains it and that describes us. And that is authentic Christ follower. If you've never